even light up your whole room. Yes. Because the way it was even designed, it is made. Yeah, so the distance is supposed to be very short. Do you understand? Anyway. But now God here is telling you something. He's showing you purpose. Purpose. That even though it is light, they serve different purposes. Yes. There's the light to chase away darkness. Yes. There's a light for seasons. Yes. So which means there could also be light for marriage. There could be light for finances. Yes. There could be light for academic success. Yes. But if you think the light for the darkness is what you will use for your marriage, you miss it. See? So even God is a God of purpose. Say it. Yes. God is a God of purpose. Why not you? And how did he know that the light that he used to chase away darkness is not necessary, will not be useful for seasons? So it's something you and I should begin to carefully examine it, even though we just started this new year. You can't use the lights of last year to navigate your way for this year. You can't. You can't maintain the same friends of last year and expect to excel. Because this new year can still be last year. No way. No way. with the same light of last year. And that's the honest truth. But think about it. God is a God of purpose. Say it. God is a God of purpose. And for God to be a God of purpose, the reason why he is a God of purpose is that he is able to identify what is useful for what and what is not needed for anything. He knew the light that chased away the darkness cannot be the light for seasons. He knew that. Why are you using the same light that you used for Johnson, for Collins? You knew what Johnson did to you last year or 2 months ago. In fact, the 31st night, he told you, I want to start afresh in the new year, so I just want everything to go. Then, you cried into the new year. The only time you laughed was when we were told Happy New Year. So now it's a new year. Then you now saw someone looking like Collins again. Coming your way. From the same tribe, has the same haircut. Sister. And he is coming again. And you still want the same light you used for Marcus on Collins. Even God will say, even me, myself, I did not use the light for darkness, for seasons. You should know that the season of Collins is over. You need another light. It's like somebody says, I've been part of one ministry, I can't leave that ministry, I will live and die in that ministry. My loyalty is to that ministry. It's true, it's good. But I can't, leaving that ministry is like betraying the ministry. I know when I was going through my trying times, they were there for me. Fine, they were there for you. Yeah. And you are grateful. You are. You just said it. That you are grateful. You are grateful. And what are you saying? Are you saying I should walk out of the ministry? I'm not saying that. I'm saying you are grateful for what that ministry did for you. So they brought the light into your darkness. You were going through issues. You almost ended up in the shelter and all that. So they came to your aid. So they brought the light into that shelter darkness, into that lack. They were supplying you food and all that. So now you are able to arrange your life now. You've come out of that darkness. Now you have been able to arrange your life. Someone say, but Bro.Osi, it will not be fair if I tell pastor that the Lord is leading me to another ministry. Well, the question is, there is a light for seasons.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you are not grateful. Well, let me just stay, Bro.Osi. Till when they are tired of me, then let them tell me to go. Then I will go. It means you don't understand purpose. It means you don't understand purpose. And the question is, that you already know that there is somewhere you can go for your life to be improved, and still say you want to maintain loyalty to a place where you are stagnant, you are already insincere. You are no longer loyal. You are not loyal anymore because you already know where to go. And if you think that just by staying with the light that shines into your darkness then is all there is, you are not loyal because you already know where to go.
Yes, you have an option.
Loyalty requires being blind to one opinion. But you already know there's a way out. Are you still loyal? Is it because they still see you in church you think you are loyal? You are not loyal. Your mind is somewhere. It says where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Okay. Before you get angry, let's continue. But say this, say God is a God of purpose.
God is a God of purpose.
Yeah. God is a God of purpose. I believe in the God of purpose.
I believe in the God of purpose.
Well, you don't sound like you mean it, but I do.
believe in the God of purpose.
If there's a knowledge that gives you access to financial success, don't think that same light may be useful for your marriage. You can have a shipwreck in your marriage if you are bringing the financial principles into your marriage. You need another light. Okay, read now. Read.
Verses 14, then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then God made two great lights.
You see that?
The greater light.
Wait. You see the word great?
Yes, sir.
Greatness was never first attributed to a human person. It was attributed to something light.
Yes, sir. Was never
Not to man. Light. Two great lights the Bible says he made. Light. And these lights were to do what? To divide the day from the night. One to rule the day, the other to rule the night. To break into seasons, times, and all of that.
Yes.
But greatness was attributed to it.
Wow.
So you see, why was greatness attributed to these two lights? Because of what the lights were to do. Because of the function. You see. Function. The multiple functions that you engage in at a time can define whether greatness will be attributed to you. Particularly when the multiple functions you are engaging are things you are really doing successfully. You are not lacking in any of them. Then greatness can be attributed to it. You see, the lights were to divide what? The day and the night, to break into what? Seasons. Come on now, read. Signs, days again, and years. See, the different multiple functions. God says because of the multiple functions, greatness needs to be attributed to it. Greatness. So how can you be just great in one area and we call you a great one? No. So you are looking at multiplicity of competence.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Proficiency and competence in different areas. God said this light can do something that the light that shine into the darkness cannot do. You see, the light that shined into the darkness was never attributed greatness. Why? Because it only did one thing. It brought light into the darkness. But this other one, it will address seasons and all that days. So how can you rest your loyalty on the light that shined into your darkness and remain there and die, when there is another light that can do multiple things in your life? Did Moses not say, teach us to number our days?
Yes, sir.
If you number our days, you will certainly be able to number your years. So you need a light that can help you live a fulfilled life. You see why greatness was attributed to this light. Now, there are two words I want you to notice in that verse 16. Read that verse 16 again. Can you reduce her mic? There's too much echo in her own mic. All right, go ahead.
Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night.
Now, did you notice the two words there?
Mm-hmm.
Great
Greater and lesser.
greater.
Okay.
Great
Yeah.
and greater. Say it.
Great and greater.
Now,
Yeah.
English language brought a confusion to that verse of scripture. English language. Now, don't forget, Moses wrote the book of Genesis.
Yes.
Amen now.
Yes.
Please answer me. I'm not a pastor, please. Moses wrote the book of Genesis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And Moses never spoke English. Never did. Didn't know what English was. Now, when you see the word great and then greater,
Yes, sir.
in English language, when you say great, it means something is great.
Yes.
Then when you say greater, it means one has more momentum in quantity and quality than another. Because you will notice another word there, lesser, because of the word greater. But really, it's wrong. That's not what Moses said. In the Hebrew, the word greater and great are the same. But the English language is communicating that one is greater than the other. And what comes to your mind is the sun and the moon. But you didn't mention it here. Did you see sun and moon there?
No.
It is you that presume it. You presume that he said sun and moon. Someone say, well, that's the only thing he could have been talking about. Well, who told you that? They didn't. You presume it because you think one is greater than the other. But the word great is the word gadol. Gadol. G-A-D-O-L. Gadol. G-A-D-O-L. Say gadol.
Gadol.
G-A-D-O-L. But you can pronounce it gadole.
Gadole.
Yeah, G. Now, so many files are before me. So we're looking at which one to pick. Okay, so gadole. Gadole means bigger.
Yeah.
So when it says God made, God said, let there be. Read that verse 16 again. Let's read that.
Then God made two great lights.
Exactly. So
The greater light.
Hold on. God made two great lights. The word great there is the word gadol. Gadole. Gadole means bigger. But they were two. So two of them were bigger together. Not that one was better than the other. Do you understand? But now, the word gadole, interestingly, is not a noun. Do you understand? What is a noun? You speak English. A noun is the name of any person, place, animal, place, or thing. So we can say this flower vase is a noun, right? You are a noun, your shirt, your clothes, whatever. Right?
Yes, sir.
But now, the word great here was used in an adjective form.
Description.
Do you understand? Yes, to describe these two lights. They were bigger together. One was not bigger than the other, as English language suggests.
Yes.
Even the word greater is still the same word gadoli, which means they were still bigger together.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because when you look at what these lights were to do, I mean, one couldn't have been better than the other.
Yes.
Because we can even tell you that the light for the night did more job than the light for the day. Because even the light for the night, the word night is the word dubious. Do you know what it means to address dubious? Because the word night there in the Hebrew is the word dubious. Do you know what it means when you are able to apprehend someone who is sinister, who is dubious? It's more work. Ask the police. Ask the police. Because that's what they are trained to look out for. The one who is dubious. And it's more work. Such that they have to equip themselves with weaponry just to address one who is dubious. So they carry more work. You can't say they are lesser. Meet a policeman, tell him you are not doing anything. It is God that watches over me. He will slap you. He will even lock you up there. He told me I'm not doing anything. Say I'm not doing anything, okay. Oh yeah, all the criminals come and harass this person. I will not trouble you people. The police will be there. When you call, he will be the one to pick. So, now, it's an adjective. So when you say beautiful girl, what's beautiful? It's qualifying the girl. That this girl is not just a girl, she's what? A beautiful girl. Do you understand? Yes. So you see the word gadoli here is what? An adjective. Follow this carefully. But you notice one word in that verse 16 that we've not introduced to you yet. Read that verse 16 again, the first line.
Then God made two great lights.
Read on.
The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night.
In fact, let's look at the word light. What kind of light was it? I think there's need for us to...
Yes. What kind of light?
What kind of light was it? The word light there is the word Maor. M-A-O-R. Maor. Or Maori, you want to call it that way. It's the word luminary. Don't mind my accent, but how do you pronounce? Not luminate. Luminary. Do you understand? That means it's something that does a function.
Yes.
It illuminates. Do you understand? This is the source of illumination. So, no matter the kind of lights we have today, they were born from this thing. Moray. There's a moray where any form of light originates from. Because it defines seasons, days, years. It rules both day and night. So it's available for you. Now, see what it says. It means bright, a luminous body. But anyway, in fact, The closest word English language could use is a chandelier. You know, it has different lights, pieces of light on it. And when you look at it from different sides, you can see different shades of it. Okay. But ignore chandelier, all right? Okay. There's something we want to show you. The word we wanted to show you is the word rule. Did you see the word rule?
Yes, rule.
Say rule.
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 Yes, sir.
You see, because with greatness, this light can rule. Yes. The word rule, in some versions, you may have it as govern. Is the word mimshala. Say mimshala.
Mimshala.
M-E-M-S-H-A-L-A-H. Okay. Mimshala means authority. So you see, God was establishing what? Authority. He used light first with it.
My God.
The word mimshala means dominion. Dominion. Say dominion. Now, one of the biggest mistakes Christians make is when you see the word mimshala, dominion, you want to link it to Genesis 1, verses 28. Verse 26 says, God says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion. Now, that word dominion there is not the same as this one. This one, mimshala, dominion, authority, government. It means government. So God was establishing what? Government, a system. You are looking at a system here that was to bring control. Thy kingdom come. That will be done on earth as it is in heaven. There is a will. Is God setting a will? There is a will that is establishing the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Wow. God set that will in motion.
Wow.
Everything about a man's will revolves around days, years, seasons, times. Will. God was establishing a will. A will that will govern the earth. You see why God never made a perfect world? Because God set certain systems in motion that will organize the earth. And how can you say God made the world perfect when you're even reading a verse like this? To make lights, to govern, to rule, establishing governments, domain, establishing a domain. He calls them authorities. Mimshala. Then Peter referred to the angels as authorities. He calls them dignitaries that many insult. He says, and even though they will never accuse you before God, they do hear you insult them. Peter said. So you are looking at mimshala. So there is a will. Why? Because every human being that was to come into the world was to revolve around days, times, seasons. So whether you like it or not, there is something that has been imposed in your life. Yeah. It is whether or not that thing favors you. You know, we know some of you may say you've never been to a casino before. Well, some of you may say, you've never been, I'm too righteous, I've never been to a casino before. For me, really, I haven't been. I wish I had been, but I haven't been. Although I'm not looking forward to it, but I haven't been to a casino. Okay, now, we say that to say this. If you watch movies, how many of you have seen a casino in a movie? Yes. Otherwise, we'll be praying for liars now. Now, you know, in the casino, there's this game they play where they will throw a small ball. Yes. And there's a wheel. Yes. It's spinning. Yes. Then you find the thing moving. Yeah? What do you call it? Roulette. Okay, fine. The thing is spinning. Then the ball must rest on a number. Once it rests on that number, whoever chose that number before the game has won. Do you understand? So, now, there's a reason. You see, that ball is revolving against his will. Do you understand? What God did with your life is that he already set the system spinning already. Then he threw you inside it. That's what. So you are the ball moving. We told you once about the angels called Kodesh. They are the ones in charge of numbers. So they play numbers. We said there are angels who play with numbers. Remember? When the angels when Daniel said to the king, this decree is by the watchers. This sentence is by the watchers, and the decree is by the holy ones. The word holy ones is the word Kodesh. These are angels in charge of numbers. So here you are like that ball thrown into that spinning wheel. You don't know which number you fell into. Do you understand? But God is trying to let you know here, brother, there is a system I've set. It is spinning. But it is whether or not that thing likes to favor you. That's why there are some people, no matter how hard they work, they will still be miserable. No matter how they serve God, because the spinning. But I'm different. This thing must work for me. Yes, sir. This thing must work. I can't choose the wrong number. You didn't get it. You see why King David, he knew this thing. That's why I said, the lines are falling onto me in pleasant places. Not in bad places, in pleasant places. The right numbers always come up for me. That's why there are some people, sometimes there are some people, they never pray, they have married good women. Another one that explains, oh God. Because the spinning. Do you understand? And that is why, in order for that wheel, by these lights, both day and night, to spin in your favor, he says an heir. As long as he's a child, he's not different from his slave. Even though he's the Lord of all, but he's placed under what? Tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. So the tutors and governors are the lights in your life. You know, telling you, go this way, do it this way. See, because they know how the wheel is spinning for your life. See, that was why there was delay in my life in the first several years of my life. Because I was a street boy. I was a street boy from 8 years old. So there was no one to really guide me because nobody cared.
Oh my God.
And we were telling somebody earlier today, I said, you are privileged to have a mother like your own. See, because these are people who can see the wheel spinning. And they're trying to push you into the right direction. You say, no, I want to make my own decision. And that was the problem. That was why God was angry with Adam. I had already spun the wheel in your favor. Because there are people who are professionals in the casino. They know, they have been there for years. They know how the ball moves. They know how the ball moves. There's a reason why that guy is the attendant for that guy. He's supposed to make money for the casino. Not you to come to the casino and make money. And that thing, someone made it. So there's a way he has set the engine. And that is why if you meet some casino experts, once the ball is making certain sounds like ka, 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 the guy knows he's going to fall on 17. Kai. The guy knows. You don't understand. By perception, they have been able to navigate this thing. They've been able to see how this thing moves. Yes, sir. Okay, one time we were traveling, and then Pastor Christian and Brother Ochi, they were discussing about police. And so, and they were mentioning, they said, when you are traveling to Virginia, when you get to a place like Maryland, the police are seriously there. But when you go to, so you can move any speed. When you get to, why? Because over time, they have plied that road. They have come to know where they need to slow down and when they need to go on 90, 100. Do you understand? Lord have mercy. Do you understand? So even if when they were on high speed, the police stopped, they are even surprised. What's this policeman doing here? He's not supposed to be here. Do you understand? Because to them, they have spun the wheel. It was supposed to go the way they wanted. Do you understand? That's why there are some ladies. It may look like they are delaying their marriage. No, they have targeted one brother. And with the potential of success, they are spinning the wheel. Is that not what Naomi did for Ruth? She spin the wheel for her with comforter. Say, cover his legs, he will marry you. Yeah. Anyway, let's avoid the temptation of being here. Let's move on. But just know, God said that's where the will that governs a man's destiny was created. To govern seasons, years, days that still affects us today. That is why there are certain, when you remember a particular year, you regret you never experienced what you experienced. No, it was not the fault of the year. You never took notice of how it was spinning. And do you know there are many today? That's why you keep making resolutions and breaking them. Because there is a way this thing is supposed to spin. So like our Papa, when he told us this year is the year from majesty to majesty, he's telling you there is a way spinning. Do you understand? So if you had applied for a supervisory role last year, aim for something higher this year. If it's going to be from majesty to majesty, shoot upwards, not downwards. Because you'll be going against the wheel that is spinning. Okay. But greatness was never supposed to be addressed or attributed, that's the word, attributed to a human being. It was attributed to something that was to govern seasons. And whether you realize or not, these lights governed Adam's life. Because when God planted the garden, there were seasons that made the plant grow. Yes, sir. So Adam was even on diet. So there was something ruling Adam's life. Wow. There was something. So when God cursed the ground, he was reversing the wheel. Wow. But let's ignore that. Now, let's read what God said concerning Adam when he made him. Go to Genesis 1:26. Let's read that. See, listen. Oh. You know, God said, my children are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Say it. My children are destroyed. Now, not the lack of prayer. Now, not the lack of the word. Knowledge. So the fault is on your side. That's what God is telling you. It is your fault. You refuse to know what you ought to know, what you should know. Not that the word is not available. But you see, how can you be desiring messages on prosperity when you are dying of cancer? No! See, you will die of cancer. You understand? See the way the wheel is spinning. Yes, sir. Wow. Yes, sir. So, pretenemisko fratia. Let's show you something. That's what we're saying. In tongues. Let's show you something. Let's show you something. Now, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, he says, and God said, let us make man in our image. And let them have what? Dominion. Pause. Dominion? Dominion over what?
The fish of the sea.
Yeah?
Over
the fish of the sea. What an ambition. Yeah, but God, are you saying that's why you made me?
It's not bad.
To have dominion over fish. Meanwhile, there's no sea around me. You live in the mainland. You don't even live in the coastal areas. You say, well, let him have dominion over the fish of the sea. Read. Birds.
Over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth.
No.
So God created.
Wait. You just want to speed. Read that part so that God does not remember. No, we must understand this thing. Whether the devil likes it or not.
Amen. We will understand.
Now, that part that you are reading, you realize that nothing about greatness was ascribed to the man. Nothing about greatness was ascribed to the man. Read again. Read verse 26 to 28 now.
Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Amen.
Now, you see the word greatness was never used for Adam. So you see, when God made man, we began by telling you, God never intended man to be great. Greatness was not something God ever wanted to use for man. Because man was not supposed to really do anything. Because there was something, there were two lights already doing everything. Now, go to verses 5 of chapter 2. Let's see something. Read verses 5, please.
Before any plant of the field was in the earth, and before any herb of the field had grown, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the earth, and there was no man to till the ground.
There was no man to till the ground. Okay, read now.
But a mist went from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Mm-hmm. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, mm-hmm. and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Okay. And man became a living being.
Okay.
The Lord God planted a garden.
Now, notice, I thought the man was made to till the ground so that at least man will have something to do.
Yes.
So, but the Lord did it himself.
Oh, thank you.
So that means, therefore, if the two great lights were for seasons, were for days,
yes,
years, and in planting, in seed, time and harvest, it requires season. And God was the one who planted it. He also made the water to grow. Then God himself must be one of those lights.
Hi. Oh my God. Then God himself.
Let's show you something. Look at verses 26 of Genesis chapter 1. When the Lord said, let them have dominion, what did it mean? When he said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. The word dominion is the word radar. Radar. What's the first one?
The first one.
Mimshala. Right? Mimshala. Right? To rule, govern, do you understand? Dominion. Mimshala. But here, the word dominion here for man is the word radar. Do you understand? Here, the word radar means to subdue forcefully. So here, listen carefully. Adam was not made to rule. He was someone that was designed to forcefully take whatever he wants. You see why when even the woman was made, he said, she's my wife. She's bone of my bones. See, he was exercising what? Dominion. Do you understand? Because to rule, to govern, you definitely have subjects. So that means these lights, God knew, these two great lights will not necessarily of their own submit. Sorry, the seasons, the days and the years will not necessarily submit of their own accord to these two lights. So that's why he says govern them. But to Adam, he says dominate. Yes, sir. Conquer. Yes, now, that will give you a picture of the earth you and I living since Genesis. So only a fool will say God made a perfect world. He never did. He said conquer it. Yes. This world, I can't complete it. Yes. I need you to conquer it. Yes. Yes. You see why some people say they are angry with God? If God really cares about us, why are all the deaths going on? God said I never did jack. I left it for you. Conquer it. Forcefully. Step on it. So say, how does God feel when I kill a mosquito? He says step on it. How does God feel when I kill a war gecko? He said it. He said it. Whether war gecko. Now remember the things he told Adam to dominate. God made them. And he has no problem with it. Someone say, no, social services, animal social services will be angry that I killed a mosquito. God says, it's you and them. Even mosquitoes now, not even mosquitoes, the cockroaches. When they see you come, they come to greet you. I mean, they have become.
Some of them that flies.
Somebody invited us to a house in Chancellor Avenue. We told you that story many times. There's nothing wrong with Chancellor Avenue, but our experience in that house, even the elevator, the way the thing shakes. The way they did it. And we're going to the 16th floor. I said, dear God, when are we going to get there? By the time we got there, we sat down. Yeah. Cockroach. He just ran over my lap. Another one did. I said, no, I will kill you. All the while she was saying, Bro.Osi, you are welcome. It's a privilege. A prophet of God came to my house. I was not listening to her. I was targeting these cockroaches. Then after a while, I said, wait, let me behave well. So they don't say, it's a spiritual arrow that was attacking me. They didn't know it is cockroach. So I put my hand in my pocket. And it was deliberate because it can enter my pocket and lay eggs. Then later she went to bring me food. I said, Auntie, I'm fine. You know those crayfish that they didn't grind? You still see that low antenna. I said, this must be cockroach. This must be a cockroach. Cockroach jollof rice. I did it. I said, I'm fine. And I was very hungry. I was eager to leave. By the time we were leaving again, I was thinking about this elevator. Yeah. Because if you enter it will shake. When we entered the car, I said, brother, as you go, don't look back, please. Please don't look back. Since that day, it was when we left, I said, what's the name of this avenue? He said, Chancellor Avenue. I said, I will never forget. I will never forget. And when I see the Lord face to face, I'll tell him, Lord, Chancellor Avenue, you need to bring Jerusalem there. Anyway, now, it says dominate. Dominate. Conquer. Now, notice, he didn't say tame.
Yes.
He didn't say tame them.
Conquer.
It says dominate them. Somebody say, well, in dominating, when you tame, you have dominated. No.
They can still be out of control.
It says dominate them.
Dominate.
The one that was tamed was the one that even deceived the woman.
It's true.
Sit down, the dog, sit down. It's serpent too. Serpent that they tamed though. That Adam refused to dominate. It's not the one, when you tame an animal, is that not the animal you call an intelligent animal? Yeah, the serpent was very, very intelligent. Tamed now, but he messed up the woman's mind. An animal telling a woman that something is good for food, you will be like God. And the woman, it's true. The Bible says when she saw, as though she has not been seeing it, when she saw that the tree was good, pleasant to the eyes, one desire to make one wise, she went and took and ate. Anyway, there was a big problem. So since that day, God was looking for which man he's going to single out. Because now, the man he made and put in that spinning wheel has come out of the wheel. So God said, now, who can I find? This time around, I don't want him to be in the spinning wheel of the two great lights. I want him now in this broken system. I want him to operate like those lights ruling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's where greatness came about, being used on a man. Where a man now can do what those lights are doing. Because man is outside of that system completely. You talk about the ozone layer, and they say the air pollution is caused by who? Man. So that means even the seasons are not predictable anymore. So man is out of the system. So God is looking for men now who can begin to operate like lights.
Yes, sir.
To apprehend the day and also apprehend the night and bring it on to compulsory control.
Yes, sir.
And even create seasons. That's why today science can plant tomatoes in winter and still make it grow in a room. Why? They use certain lights to create even summer for the thing. Do you understand? Control. Okay. Now, if that is true, why have you not done it for your finances? Why have you not done it for your academic success? God says everything is. Goes to Psalm 82. Read verses 5. Psalm 82. Read Psalm 82. So that you know man has already been out of that spinning wheel. That's the reason for governments today. God left governments in the hands of men. Before it was in the control of lights. That's why today we contest, we vote, and we elect someone into the leadership into political leadership, and those people control your destinies today. They make policies that rule over your life. And you know, to see someone say, well, it doesn't affect me one bit. It does affect you. You know it does affect you. You know it does affect you. Read verses 5. Psalm 82 verses 5.
They do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness.
You see that? Darkness. Meanwhile, there was supposed to be a light to rule the night.
Yes.
Now, they walk in darkness. Even the first light cannot even appear to set things in order. The one in verses 3 of Genesis chapter 1. Okay, read now.
All the
foundations of the earth are out of course. So the first light in Genesis chapter 1 verses 3 came about so that God can set the foundations of the earth in order. Because there was darkness on the face of the deep, God said, let there be light. So with the light, he was able to set foundations in order. Now he says it's out of course. And people are walking in darkness.
It's true.
See, ask yourself. Oh, can we ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Ask yourself as a child growing up, when did you first gain the consciousness that there is lack at home?
Exactly.
Wow.
Daddy and mommy are not able to provide. When was it? Was it when you were 5? When was it? Was it when you were 6? When did it happen? When did you have to start worrying what the future will be for you? It doesn't matter. Let's give you that as an assignment. Go and think about it. Then you will know where you stepped out of a will. When did you first gain the consciousness that, things are going to be challenging this season? When? Who told you that? That's the same thing God asked Adam. Who told you? When did you start gaining consciousness that you are naked? When did you start gaining consciousness that things are going to be difficult? When did you start gaining the consciousness of being afraid? He said, who told you that you are naked? Adam said, I was afraid. I heard your voice. When did you gain the consciousness of not running to come and welcome me when we open the door as your daddy? When? That was the day your nakedness began. That was the day your ground was cursed. And guess what? Since you told that part in your life, you still have not returned. And it's been 25 years now. You are still going. It's been 35 years now. You are still going. You are still going. Now you even married, still on that same journey. Met someone who thinks like you, because the Bible says deep calleth unto deep. Met your kind, who is still. Meanwhile, there are others born into eternal success. Father, revive me again.
Father, revive me again.
That's the truth. Make me return back. That's what Jesus said to Peter. He says, Simon, Simon, Satan has desired to sift you as wheat. He said, now when you have returned, the word converted is the Greek word return. That means he went on a journey, yet he was still standing with Jesus. When did you travel? When did you go off course, yet you are standing with abundance? You see, after Jesus left, he went to fishing and caught nothing. Why? He had already gone. Yet Jesus, with 5 loaves, would multiply. He had lack in his mind, yet he was standing next to someone who carries abundance. See, one day we had some boys did live with us in the house. There were then about like 5 boys. Pastor Eunice was the only lady in our midst. And so the Lord told us to move to another house where we live today. And so we left the house. We said, now instead of telling the management that I'm leaving, I'll leave the house for you guys. 4 of you have jobs. There were 4 boys. There were 5 boys, but 4 had jobs. No, 3 had jobs, 1 didn't. 1 was going to school. So I said, okay, fine. Now, the rent we were paying, I said, we splitted it among the 3. I said, you guys can continue. I'm moving. I left TV, left everything. Practically just carried our bag and left. Oh. Within the space of how many months? It became a court case. Finally, the management took the building. Why? 3 people. 3 matured men could not pay the rent 1 person was paying. Finally, we told one of them, I said, never step up to me again. What 3 people cannot do, I did it for years. Never step up to me again. I'm not your mate. We know how the wheel spins. Because you are a male doesn't mean you are a man. We know how this thing spins. We left it for 3 men, and each one of you has girlfriend. And you could not pay the rent. Never step up to me again. No, we told them. Say, never step up to me again. Never step up to me again. We know how this thing spins. We know how this thing spins. And of course, one of them was very tall. I said, brother, forget it. You think his size? We know how this thing spins. And that's the truth. That's what we're telling you. So even now, you can gain the consciousness like you're doing now. Say, man, look. So tonight, when you get home, ask yourself, how has my life been spinning? Now it's time to take control. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the reason why we teach you what we teach you. That's the reason why our Papa said we should teach you these things. So that you can know how to master the circumstances of your life. Put it under compulsory control. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He says the foundations of the earth are already out of course. Bring your own to course.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yes, sir.
And if you are able to successfully do that, no one will ever be able to step up to you. Because you have been able to know how this thing spins. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So he said he wants to get married to me. Brother, does he know how this thing spins? That's the truth. It's all about knowing how life spins.
Yes, sir. It's true.
Because God admitted the foundations of the earth are already out of course. God even needed light to bring some things to order and set a system that man violated. God now said, now it's in your hands. Fix it.
Yes, sir.
You are still calling on God. God who already gave it to you. Oh God, do this. Oh God, do that. God said, leave me alone. When I did it, he did it. Man scattered it. Oh yeah, fix it. What do you think Jesus came to do? Jesus came to put Israel in order.
Wow.
Did he succeed? No. They finished him. He left it for them. Now he left it for you. We're here. Your father never succeeded the way he should have succeeded. Now it looks like you're heading on that same path. You say, no. No. I told my biological father I will never be like you. My biological father is a pastor. I told him I can't be like you. Can't be like you, man. This thing must work for me. That's the truth. The Bible says, through knowledge shall the just be delivered. So, when the system went off course, God started looking for which man he can use. Well, he saw Noah. And the Bible says in Genesis 6 verses 8, Noah found grace. The word grace there means beauty. So that means what God saw in Noah was his beauty. God saw a fine man. It was his charisma that attracted God to Noah. God said, I'll use him. He's a fine guy. So don't think that when the word grace there is the word, I think, kane. It means your fair, beauty. It's the beauty. Noah's beauty was very fine. That's the reason why God picked him. Not because Noah was great. There was nothing great. He was just a fine person.
Yes, sir.
But he had the opportunity now to make it big. Alcohol finished him. Alcohol. Genesis chapter 9. Shekwe, Okmai, Hennessy, Moe, Baraga. My ear is just laughing. Palm wine, fermented. Have you, Brother Peter? You're strong. Scatter brain. The guy slept, he slept naked. Go and read the blessings God gave Noah. God said even animals will dread you. His grandson came and saw grandpa naked. I said, see, grandpa is naked. So God says, man, this thing is not going to work. I need someone who can bring control. Because that's why we said, don't think of the sun when he talks about great lights. Don't think of the sun and the moon. What those two great lights were supposed to do in the earth, there was no opportunity for it again. That's why everything is in the hands of man now. The Bible says the heavens belongs to the Lord, but the earth he has given to the sons of men. And that's the reason why God honors governments, political governments. God honors it because what those two lights were supposed to do is what government is trying to do. And government is trying to do it without God. So you see why no government has any plans for you. We have a president today, it looks like he doesn't really care about how you feel right now because of his decision. He's a billionaire. Now, the president of the United States has access to $4 million every day.
Yes.
Every day. $4 million every day. He doesn't think of you. The question, even if you are in a messed up system, can you still bring control? Can you say, my children will go to the best school?
Yes, sir.
My children will still eat the best children food. You can't say because of things now you stop buying Huggies. Now you are not buying Pampers. Oh, brother, can you still maintain Huggies? We told you something, and we've been saying it in most of the lessons. We'll inject it in, but we don't know that some of you are paying attention to it. We asked a question once. We said, how many of you have sustained interest? How far can your interest go? Are you someone who has lasting interest? Is something that excites you now?
Yes, sir.
Something that excites you now, can it still excite you 15 years from now? When we first began in ministry, it was one of the first things the Lord told me to fix in my life. He said, fix your interest. The Lord first told me, that was the foremost thing the Lord told me before we started the ministry. He said, because you will not last long if you are not able to sustain interest. The thing that excites you, does this excite you in November? By June, are you still excited about it? You were told to head a department. When the people who were supposed to be in the department stopped cooperating, did that kill your interest? Or you still have a sustained interest that no matter what, I'll still do this thing? You wonder why God picked Abraham? That was one thing Abraham had. He could sustain his interest, no matter what. To travel to nowhere and say, God, you never saw, sent you. It takes a man with a sustained interest to do that. You call it faith. It is interest. Wow. The Bible says he was looking for a city whose builder and maker was God. There was something he was interested in. Yeah. Yet he could not see it with his physical eyes. Now, you can even see Susanna with your physical eyes. Now you are tired. You say, now she's growing big. You used to like her because she was slim. Now, before, she never used to wear glasses. You loved her. Now, he's like one eye now. Do you still have sustained interest? Do you still have sustained interest? You liked him then with his glasses because the thing used to stand. Now he's bringing it to the nose. Do you still have sustained interest? Do you understand? Do you like yourself? Can you sustain interest? So, now, go to Genesis chapter 12. Let's close with this. We're introducing the lesson to you because our Papa said this month we should teach on grace and greatness. But we're starting with greatness first before we go into grace. Because when did grace come into being?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true.
When did grace? And what do you need grace for? What do you really need grace for? Because did these great men in the Old Testament need grace? And think about it. Is grace God's best for you? Because today in the ministry, all of us talk about grace. Grace. Let's celebrate grace. Grace. Is grace God's best for you? Wow. Is grace God's best for you? Meanwhile, some men have climbed heights in life and never heard the word grace. They have climbed heights in life. Do you know someone is the CEO of Delta Air? Someone is the CEO of Delta Air. Yes, sir. The CEO of United. Someone is even the CEO of Spirit Airline. Someone is the CEO of one thing. You. And that person is about your father's age. And it's the same father that you and I have in the flesh. Crosses their legs to watch Fox TV. Lord, help me never to fail. I will never fail in my life. I will never fail in my life. I will never fail in my life. It's a decision I've made. It doesn't matter who stands before me. I will never fail in my life. Never. I will never fail in my life. I'm a success forevermore. Yes, sir. I'm a success forevermore. It doesn't matter who is with me. It doesn't matter who is against me. It doesn't matter the circumstances. It doesn't matter the nature of the economy. I am a success forevermore. 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 When we went to the business school, there's this business school we went to. It was an entrepreneurship business school. And it's called Faith Foundation in Nigeria. And the owner of that business school is the founder of Guarantee Trust Bank in Nigeria. And unknown to me, his own daughter was my classmate. She was sitting next to me. Now, even though her father is the founder of a big financial institutions like that, the father didn't even know his daughter was a student. It was on our graduation day, he was surprised to see his daughter. He said, "What are you doing here?" She said, "I left the UK to come and school." This was someone I was teaching financial model. So I asked her, "What's your name?" She called her name. I said, "Wait." She said, "Yes, I'm his daughter." Yeah. Come and see this lady. I said, "You are the daughter of Fola Adiola?" She said, "Yes, he's my dad." He doesn't even know I'm in this school. I want to make it a surprise to him that I'm ready for leadership. I'm ready to take over leadership. So I decided to leave the UK to come. I told him I came for the holiday, but really I came to attend this class. The daughter of the owner of a prestigious business school left the UK to come and attend her father's school. You know what she was trying to say? "Daddy, that thing that makes you who you are, I want it." She didn't cross her leg to say it's my father's own. They will give me my own inheritance. We were in the same class, doing the same assignment. I was teaching her. After the first day, after we knew her, I went to pray. I used to go to Dr. Becky's school to go and pray. I was praying. I said, "Oh God, thank you. This is a good sign for my destiny. That I have a classmate like this is a good sign for my destiny. Ah, Lord. Thank you. I have a good debt. I have a good debt. It's a good sign for my destiny." I said, "Yeah." My father did not even know any successful person. There was one man, when I was working in the bank, there was one lady I wanted to marry, and she said I should come and meet her father. And her father was the managing director of a big-time company, and I didn't know. We talked. He said, "Which school?" I told him all the school. He was excited. He said, "You have a robust resume." He said, "But tell me about your father." I said, I said, "I don't know what I can tell you about my father. He's a preacher." Anyway, he told his daughter, He said, I will not let you marry him because his family has no history. That's what he told me. So I said, and when she told me she cried, I said, don't cry. I said, you just encouraged me. I must have a history. A glorious one. This word, we must shake it today. So when we're telling you some things, when we tell some of you, pursue Ivy Leagues, leave community colleges, we know what we're telling you. Some of the successful people that we know today as friends that we talk to face, are people, if not for the kind of schools I decided I wanted to go. Yet my father was as broke as hellfire. Wow. You understand? Come to discover for some people, what we are praying for God to give us is somebody's normal life. You understand? What you are now praying for God to give us is another man's normal life. Then what kind of prayer would that kind of person be praying? You understand? You understand? The thing you are now, oh God, give me Holy Ghost fire. Any demon standing in the way of my finances, die by fire. Some people. Let's show you something about Abraham. But think about this. When did you first gain the consciousness that things will be difficult in your life? Was it at 7 years old? Was it at 5? Because if you can trace it then, you just came back. Then you can set yourself on the path of success. Do you know at age 12, Jesus already marked a future for himself? At age 12, he knew Joseph would not be there to really guide him. He knew his mother is angry with him for not acknowledging Joseph as his father. So he knew things were going to be difficult. So Jesus already charted the course. At age 12, he said, man, look, I already have a business to pursue.
Yes. Wow. It's true.
Do you know, we decided a long time ago, before the Lord called us into the ministry, that if things don't go the way I want it, I can polish shoes. If I polish your shoe, I'll make money polishing shoes. I know how to do dry cleaning, I can iron. I knew. Because today, if I ask my biological father, what can you really do well? He will say, Bible, preach. But I knew I can still do other things. When did you start recognizing that your journey in life was going to be challenging? Because that's when issues began. That's where it began, like it began for Adam. The day Adam told God. And you think you are mature when you go to tell your daddy, Daddy, I know what you are going through. I know things are pretty tough. Shut up! Get out of here. Go to school. And you, daddy, you are a fool to entertain that kind of conversation. You think your daughter is matured when she's saying, I know what you are going through. Shut up! You don't know what I'm going through. Don't worry about what I'm going through. Things will be fine. Go to school. Focus on school. And you think your daughter is mature because she's saying, my daughter cares about me. You are a foolish daddy to give room to that conversation. You think your daughter is matured because she said, I know what you are going through. I know things are difficult right now. Daddy, you know I really care for you. Don't care about me. Go and sit down. Focus on your life. You want to care about me? I was here before you came. What do you want to care for me for? You want to care about me for what? My biological father once said to me, you don't care about me. I said, but you should be ashamed to say that to me. I don't care about you. Between me and you, who should care for who? You tell me I don't care about you. Between me and you, who should care for who? No, now it's the truth. Who should care for you? We care for God's people. I still care for you too. In your 70s, still care for you too. Brother, don't try it again. It's because you are my father. Negative emotions, don't be angry. All right, let's look at Genesis chapter 12, please, so that we can close. Have you been blessed tonight?
Yes, sir.
Don't go and get angry with your parents. Say, as Bro.Osi did it, I will do it. Don't do it. By the time your dad comes, I'm already in Atlanta. So I said, who said that? My daughter said, my son said, oh man. Did I say it? The child will say, Bro.Osi is like, in fact, I can play the message for you. It's on YouTube. Somebody once did that to us. The child will say, Bro.Osi, you said it now. I said, did I say it? I say, yeah. Maybe I was in the spirit. And I'm still in the spirit. Anyway, we told the person, actually, it's true, but this is it. This is what we meant. And it's true. And of course, you know, some parents, they don't really agree, even when you tell them the truth. All right, let's close. Let's read from verses 1. It says what?
Now the Lord had said to Abram, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house.
You don't read as though you are excited.
To a land that I will show you. Mm-hmm. I will make you a great nation.
Mark the word great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will bless you and make your name great.
Now you see this. Now did you notice in that one verse? Great. He used the word great, bless, and great. Do you understand? You see, he uses the word great and great. Say it.
He uses the word great and great.
Now, interestingly, those two words, great, even though they are the same in English, they are not the same in the Hebrew.
Yeah, he said, I will make you a great nation.
The word great, when he says, I will make you a great nation, the word great there is the word gadoli, which is what? An adjective. Do you understand? Yeah. That means there is a nation that will arise from you, and they will be what? They will be big. They will be very great. In fact, gadoli also means bitterly. That means they will be bitterly mighty. In Genesis, that means their success will bring bitterness in the minds of people. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
God is rugged. In other words, you will become the envy. People will so envy you, they will become bitter, but they can't do anything. They are bitter because they can't do anything. Your massiveness will make them become bitter. Yeah, they can't do jack about it. God, see his intentions. This is God's intentions. We are reading God's intentions for calling one man. He said the intention is to make you so massive that people will become bitter. And Abraham agreed. Abraham said, I like it. I like it. I want people to envy. I want people to be bitter about me. But you don't want that. You want everyone to just love you and hug you. Oh, see you. So, why this my friend doesn't want? Is it my fault that I'm successful? It's your fault that you are successful. You don't know. They don't give you that kind of greatness. People will become bitter. They say, yes, sir. Wow. Hey, why should she be marrying that rich guy?
Thank you.
See me now, I've been with Julius. Sorry, not Julius. Not Julius. We have a Julius here, not Julius. Oh no, Lord, have mercy upon me. Anyway, before he comes, we'll have gone to Atlanta. But the word great name, when he says, I'll make your name great, right? That word great is something I'm so excited about.
I'm excited about.
The first one is what? Gadoli, right?
Yes.
But this one is Gadal.
Yes,
sir. Gadal.
Yes.
Do you understand? Here, he is saying, you'll be making arrogant advancement.
Yes,
now, where you make arrogant advancement? His name.
yes.
He said, I will so arrogantly advance your name.
Amen.
Now, Gadal also means an advancement in growth. That means as you are increasing every year.
Yes, sir.
You are getting close to the next birthday. Each circle of birthdays, there will be a new level of arrogant advancement. Here, Gadal is something that does not end. Interestingly, the first one, Gadole, is an adjective qualifying that thing, right? But Gadal is a verb. Is an action word. It continues till you die. That means when God puts you on a Gadal, there's no reverse jar. Even when you do wrong, it's just good. Good. Even when Abraham did what he did with Hagar, God came in Genesis 17. He said, Abraham, still walk before me blameless. God says, I am your reward. Go blameless. Do you understand? While others are discussing his mistakes, he's still advancing. Arrogantly. Do you understand? There's a success God will give you. Do you understand? It is even now. Do you understand? This Gadar success. That people will forcefully accuse you of your arrogance. And it is not your fault. People may even say you are prideful. Let's give you an example. Did you watch Coming to America? You already know that part. The best part of that movie was when Eddie Murphy's father, Jaffe Joffa, came to Lisa's father's home. You understand? A home they had vacuumed. They opened the door with pouring flowers. You understand? In Lisa's father's home. The Zamunda kingdom extended into Lisa's house. Arrogant advancement. Then he came, even Lisa's father became a chef. He became a waiter. He said, it's an honor to meet you, sir. What can we offer you, sir? Do you understand? Went to bring some cookies, it's just made. And Lisa is surprised, Daddy. CEO. Now became a waiter. Some men have lived. It is like that. Then guess what? Guess what he did?
Yes, sir.
He said, how much should I pay you? 1 million? 2 million? Lisa's father was arrogant. He needs money. He turned the check. Then he sat down. Lisa's King Jaffe Joffa, Eddie Murphy's father, sat down. Then his wife was angry. He said, you offended the man. You offended Lisa's father. Apologize to him. He said, I will do no such thing. He said, because the man is beneath me. He said, I will do no such thing. And God did not kill him. He said, the man is beneath me. I've never forgotten. You know when I started watching Coming to America? It's a movie I will never be tired of. In heaven I'll say, Lord, please let's watch it. He said the man is beneath him. Some men are beneath others. If you think God made all men equal, he didn't. It's just a political talk. Some men are beneath others. Some is our birthright. That's the same. The reason why we bought that movie, that was Gadar. He came to America from Africa to come and give to an American. He came to give an American $2 million. A man from Africa came to America to come and give an American $2 million for the inconveniences of the flowers of coming to his door, to apologize that his son was ever interested in his daughter. Some men have lived. You know why God let that movie say? Because if the word of God cannot get your attention, King Jaffe Joffa should get your attention. That's the truth. There are men who live like that as their normal life. Yet, you will never see in that movie they needed to go to church. Even the pastor went for a beauty contest. Let's close. From this day forward, may you advance arrogantly. May you advance arrogantly. May your name advance arrogantly. Advance arrogantly. May your name advance arrogantly. You know what God said? God said his name, Abraham's name, it will advance. The name of Abraham so advanced to the extent that in the corridors of hell, a rich man was calling Abraham father. Even in hell, beneath the earth, in the afterlife, Abraham's name advanced into hellfire. Jesus was the one narrating it in Luke chapter 16. A man's name so advanced, covered the heavens, enter hellfire. Some men have lived. Yet, no prophet prophesied the birth of Abraham. Yet, no angel appeared. Which angel? You know what Abraham was called? He was called Adonai. Men, other humans addressed Abraham as Adonai. The same lordship they gave to angels, they were calling Abraham Adonai. And there was a woman who had the privilege to marry him all his life. It costs much to be with humans like that. People that God has magnified. May God do that in your life. May God do that in your life. You will never see where one demon confronted Abraham. Demon? Even demons needed Abraham's favor. You think there were no demons? No. They were all at peace with Abraham. This is the real Macau.
Yes, sir. I receive. I like that.
Praise God. We don't know what you've been hearing since you've been going to church. But be conscious of one thing. You are in the right place. This thing must work. This thing must work. Some men must be beneath you. It is your right. Say it. Some men must be beneath me. That's true. I mean, with all that you know, with the Almighty God on your side, with the grace of our Papa Joshua Egila over your life, some men must be beneath you. It is your right. In this life, some men are beneath us, man. That's the truth. And that is why it should begin to reflect in the way you dress. In the way you talk to people. See, there should be nobility in your voice. Even when you walk into a place, people should know someone just walked in. Do you understand? You understand? Whether you need to save to buy a perfume that will get people's attention, do it. That's the truth. Because if you don't know about smell, read Genesis chapter 26. Isaac needed to smell Jacob to bless him. Some people, if they don't smell you, you can never receive from them. You think it's that kiss perfume that when you sweat, you smell like shit? No. No. Our Papa said it's from majesty. Some men must be beneath you. Yeah. Is that right? That's the word of the Lord to us this year. That is from majesty to majesty. So some men must be beneath you. Yes, sir. No more slave mentality. That's the truth. No more slave mentality. See, there are some things you deserve. But if you don't acknowledge them, it won't come. The Bible says the communication of your faith will become effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing that is in you. No bad thing in me. He said acknowledge the good things that are in you. God will not do it for you. You acknowledge it. Don't wait for a boyfriend to do it. A boyfriend comes and say you are beautiful. Say I already know. He said acknowledge the good things that are in you. Oh, I see you are a peaceful. Say I know I'm peaceful. Do I look like a troublemaker to you? I believe that we can.
Yes, you need me.
Premium partners.
You know, this lady, if you watch Bill Cosby, his wife in the movie. Yes. One day we were entering the plane. We were together entering the plane. How is this Bill Cosby's wife? Yeah. You know when I started watching Bill Cosby? Many years ago, right from when I was a young dude, I said, now, this woman, I see you live, we enter the same place. Ah, Lord, I have a glorious sex. Yeah. This thing must work.
This thing is working.
You need to understand, there are certain circles of life. If you don't enter there, you will never meet some people in your lifetime. Does everything be on television? Meet them in real life. Does everything be on television? That's the truth. Everything doesn't have to be on TV. That woman has a neighbor. Must everything be on television? This world, we are shaking it this year and forevermore. Yes, sir. Stand to your feet. Lord. From this night forward, I believe your word. I believe your word. I believe what I've heard.
What I heard.
Therefore, I decree I make arrogance advance.
Decree that I am a package of arrogance.
In the mighty name of Jesus.
That I make arrogance.
It doesn't matter what has happened to me in the past.
Despite what happened to me in
From
the
this
past.
day forward,
From this day
I make arrogant advancement.
I make arrogance.
I advance arrogance.
Make arrogant.
I advance arrogance.
My lineage is arrogant.
It is my birthright.
It is my
because it is from majesty to majesty.
My sentence.
Whether the devil likes it or not.
Advancement. Whether the devil likes it or not. Whether any angels of the pit of hell likes it or not. I make arrogant advancement. It's from majesty to majesty. My church is from majesty to majesty. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth.